All right, go.
Medical hemp done right, we've come so far. From American soil to healing hands, the gold standard across this land. There's a new day dawning on the farm, where the hemp grows tall and the work is hard. Not just any crop, but a healing kind, with standards set and peace of mind. Lab tested, labeled, safe and true. Medical grade is what we do. From the seed to the shelf, we're leading the way. Hemp, how we're raising the bar. Medical hemp done right, we've come so far. From American soil to healing hands, the gold standard across this land. Emma, that's the way it's done. Quality you can trust for everyone. No more guessing what's inside that bottle. No more Wild West, we're full throttle. On a mission for the truth and care. Medical grade hemp everywhere. For the farmers who believe in more. For the families knocking on hope's door. We're building something real, something right. Emma shining bright. Medical hemp and right, we've come so far. From American soul to healing hands, the gold standard across this land. Emma, that's the way it's done. Quality you can trust for everyone.
All right. Hey, everybody. Thanks for joining us live tonight. We've not really ever done this before. I'm Jennifer Bruiser Stewart, your host, and the host of Sweet Home Canabama every Monday night on FM Talk 106.5 and YouTube and all the social media platforms. I'm here tonight with Martin Smith. He and I are founding board members of the American Medical Hemp Association. And we have a very specific topic to talk about tonight. And we thought we would let you join us. Martin, welcome. Thank you for joining me.
How about that jam, man? You got to give a shout out to Aaron
I
Starr.
know, yes. Aaron did such a great job.
He did. Aaron is a 50 deuce record in Louisville, Kentucky. Man, you ain't met a better human being at all. We get the opportunity to spend every day with him, Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. our time here in Kentucky. And Aaron wrote that song or made that song happen. And anyway, I just like that song. How about you?
I know you do. Hey, and I like your T-shirt. I think I see a familiar logo on that arm over there. Is that a Grunt Style T-shirt?
Look at that Grunt Style right there.
Nice.
Representing. Yes, sir, man. If y'all don't wear Grunt Style wear, man, you ought to reach out and it feels good to put it on. You know what I mean? There's some things where you go in your closet and you grab it and you just put it on because it's that day, you know, like wearing this shirt on Wednesday or whatever it is. Now, when you put these shirts on, you're just like feeling it. Look at that. You know, it's just a different feel. You know, you're supporting something good. And
I know so many veterans who say, I have 12 or 15 of those T-shirts. I love them. They're my favorite. I wear them everywhere.
Yeah, that's what I was doing when I was preparing for this video. I was like, I want to represent, my mission. And, I've been working to get incarcerated veterans access to full spectrum CBD for years and years and years, and writing legislation to reach them. And we're going to get there. This bill, HB 532, is framing it right now with a lot of industry leaders like Jim Higdon we had on the show. With Cornbread Hemp, we've been talking back and forth and working on what looks, good for everyone, and for kind of projecting what the future would need with the Medicare, with President Trump's executive order. If you haven't seen it, 14370. It's just if we'd had all of that information from the get-go. And, back when SB, that's what I was telling Jen off air. I'm doing a really an in-depth who's who back in the day when Kentucky passed our first hemp law, which was SB 50. And Senator Paul Hornback was champion. He's a big farmer. He farms about 6,000 acres here in Shelby County, Kentucky, and just an advocate for it. And Congressman Comer at that time was Commissioner Comer, agricultural commissioner. And y'all heard of Commissioner Jamie Comer and the work that he's done, with the oversight committee. And so he's always on TV, and it's just kind of wild. I remember the first time I was on the campaign trail with a guy named Sean Van Hoosen. And he said, I want to introduce you to the new agriculture commissioner. And he was on the campaign trail. And I remember when he got out of that vehicle, I was highly impressed with I don't know, when you walk up on people and you say, hey, these guys need to do more. He was that guy, it was like, man, I can see this guy doing more. And
yeah. Well, look at him now.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm putting together kind of a really neat thing for us to put out on, out on social media, you and I, to talk about in the future. But what would SB 50 be like if we'd had Executive Order 14370 from President Trump back in 2013? That's when
if we had known this a year ago, it probably could have saved a whole lot of us a lot of heartache.
But you know what? We're got to get there now, right? It don't matter what
That's
we did.
Right. That's right. The past is the past. We got to move on. And so tonight, you have been talking about this in passing. We talk about it a lot in our morning meetings every day, but I think that this is something that a lot of people, I'm very unfamiliar with it. So I'm going to ask you from my perspective to fully explain it, because I've never really had a chance to ask these questions. And while I'm asking you, everybody who's watching can learn, or can watch the replay and learn, because there's a very specific way that we can support state legislation in our local counties, and by filing what you call a county resolution. So tonight I want to talk about that, and I want to ask you first, what is a county resolution?
I appreciate you. Always the curiosity you have. I guess that's why you make a great reporter, and doing what you do is
you got to be good at asking questions.
Yeah, and you got to have the curiosity that keeps people's interest. And
right.
I really appreciate that about you, Jennifer. But you remember whenever back on, I don't know, man, it's barely been 17, 18 months ago when we had the conversation about individual sovereignty.
Yes.
Remember that? And so we talked about the power of your sovereignty, and how we talked about, remember Cheryl Schumann, who had the business in Beverly Hills. She had a cannabis club there that she got a city ordinance to protect her and protect her interest with using what we would consider, if you look at the government, the way it's perceived is that it runs from, the big end of the government down to the little end of the government, but it really it wasn't designed that way, right? It was designed to protect your individual sovereignty and for you to be able to have a voice and to know how that voice is heard. And a county resolution is the best way to do it. Why? Because you're going to be walking into the same room with people you go to the grocery with, people you got in daycare with, people you go down and pay your water bill with, or people you pay the same mowing guy, the guy that's still mowing.
Literal neighbors. Yeah.
And so that was exactly how the big government was supposed to be represented, was that there's a collective understanding of what, what needs to be legislated. And so a county resolution is a real simple document that basically says, hey, as a county, and as somebody in my county, I'd like to have the full resolution, or the full, support of my county when I go to the Capitol in Frankfurt and talk about issues that are of concern to me and my family, and maybe my cousin and my aunt and my grandma, and you have a consensus that when you walk into that with that resolution, that the support of your county has weight. And then you're able to take that up, and once you have a county judge sign off on it, and basically it says, like this county resolution that we're going to be talking about tonight is in support of HB 532. It just basically generates a resolution that says, as a county, we would like to have your support on this bill when we go up and to to the Senate and the House, our representatives, we'd like to have the county behind us on this and supporting it. And so
Right.
what we did with the American Medical Hemp Association, and my background in the military was artificial intelligence in a very raw way. So I've always been around it. So I generated a resolution generator that uses artificial intelligence to search out your county. So when you put your zip code in there, it goes straight to all your county ordinances. And if you're a parish, or if you're, like us, we have judge execs that manage the county as the authority. And so he has obviously a commission or people who work in that space to represent the whole county. And so basically you just take this county resolution. I'll be doing this Tuesday, March 10th. I'll be doing it in Harrison County with Judge Jason Marshall. And we're going to be filming that just like this so that you guys can see how that happens. And it's real simple. And tonight we're going to do a real quick video on how to do it in your county. And so, Jen, are you ready?
I am.
Okay.
Are you now? Can you explain to us, for somebody like me who's never done this before, and I could do anything once I've done it once, you know what I mean? So it's the first time that is intimidating. And most people have never gone and filed a resolution in their county and, and had any real dealings with politics or law or anything like that. So I just want you to walk us through it. Now we know what it is. It's basically a declaration that, as in this example, we've got HB 532 in Kentucky. Or if it was, if we had that bill in Alabama, it would be HB whatever. And I could go down to Baldwin County and file a resolution that tells my county that I would like support for that bill. And if every county has a resolution filed, then that sends a very large message, even if it's not every single county, but a large number of counties saying, hey, we want this. Then that's what this is for. There just needs to be a physical person to print this out and take it on down there and file it. And I'm assuming with the county
just
clerk's office. Email it to your county judge. Email it to your county judge. Even better.
Just email it to him. You don't think he's not going to be ready to hear from his constituents on topics that are important to, I mean, an executive order to Medicare. Just think about this. Medicare going to give him $500. And I don't know how that's going to be done. And we're just waiting, but we're going to be ready. We're going to be ready. That's what HB 523 is, because we got a planting season and there's so much time to prepare a season, and then you don't have the advantage that we have now. And so the advantage is planting season is on its way. So let's get this thing stabilized. So the county resolution, you have to think of it like this: anything that you feel passionate about, you can go to your county and be able to say, hey, I've got this resolution that says I like to support these initiatives that are in front of the legislature. And you can do this really easy. So it's email it. You just go to our webpage if you're going to be in support. And look, this is a national effort. It's not just a Kentucky effort. If you sent, it wouldn't hurt us none for your county. If you're, say, down in Alabama, and you got seniors there, I suspect, in Alabama who are 65 years and older who would
on Medicare,
and somebody needs to set the pace, and we think we're doing it right. We've done it right all this time in Kentucky. It's our legislation has been utilized across the nation, good, bad, or what have you. It's still been used, and we're leading the way. And HB 532 creates that framework necessary to do it. So the resolution is, basically just says, hey, we support it, and would ask for our county judge to support it as well, or if you have a parish or wherever, and just send it to the resolution, to have it sent to the Kentucky House and to the Senate as this thing moves through it, and that would be great, and we'll help you do that. So can I walk you through it? I'm excited.
Yeah. Do we want to go ahead and look at the website so you can show us and kind of walk us through it?
Yeah,
All
let
right,
me
I'm going to
know.
put that. I'm going to put that up here so everybody should be able to see that. Here is
Awesome.
our beautiful website. So I'm going to let you have the floor and kind of scroll us through, and I'll ask questions as needed.
Yeah, so this is the American Medical Hemp Association webpage. It's americanmedicalhemp.org, association.org, and it was put together by Aaron Starks and Antonio Davis, who are also founders of this. And when we say founders, we had to come up with a way really quick because it was December 18th, and President Trump set an executive order together that if we would work rapidly together, we could create something that would bring enough attention around how to do it right, because we know better now, since times. So this was the brainchild of that. We filed the American Medical Hemp Association 501c3, and we just began to work on creating educational tools. What is hemp and the key factors, and just good points and data for you to hear at it. And you could like request a COA guide, so what that is, what that is. And there's a network we're putting together for this advocacy to help get into supporting the movement. And it's just full of everything you can think of. I love playing the song
Planes were changing the game,
Yeah.
breaking the chains.
I love playing the song. Aaron put that on there. He's great for that kind of thing. You're going to love this team, by the way. We are working hard after it. This is a video of the executive order signing with President Trump.
Well, this is a day in many reasons, really for many reasons, and I have a very distinguished group of people behind me.
Listen to this. This was a landmark day, guys. I mean, a landmark day.
Yes, it was.
And because if we'd have had that kind of support with the executive branch from the get-go with this, and we would have had the agencies, the FDA, the USDA, they don't move quickly because, it's more on the lines of getting it when it's, I don't know, I guess when it's feasibly, but there's no mandate, right? And so President Trump in that executive order put a great mandate in there for this initiative. So we went right away to where we get our support, and Representative Moser has been working with me over the years to try and get a consumer protected. Her thing is Martin, bring it to me if it's legal and we can work the framework. And I just want to make sure that the consumer gets what the label
What they think they're getting. Yeah.
is what they think they're getting. She says that many times over, and I bless her for just being sticking in there. But here is where you can, on the webpage, see the bill. There's a committee substitute. This is when you read this, you're gonna, and if you say, "Oh, Martin, I have objections of these things," we have objections too of the way it reads now. That's why there's a committee sub. But you got to frame the future with what you want it to look like, and contrast that with what you don't want it to look like.
Right.
And so when you view this, you're going to see language that talks about medicinal hemp. We literally created this framework to avoid any registry. This is keeping over the full spectrum CBD.
Completely free and available to anyone everywhere.
Right. We're looking at quality assurance, safety protocols, every ounce of, trying to make sure that what's on that label is in that bottle. And so that's the initiative. The committee sub is about medical grade hemp, full spectrum, so that we can, and it's really focused on aligning with the Medicare benefit and getting our farmers ready to produce for that. This is a great show right here. Obviously, there's Jennifer.
We might be a little biased.
Yeah, and you never see me in a suit. I mean, never see me in a suit. But I was in Washington working with the embassies there and doing some other work. But that picture came from that. And this is Representative Moser here, and she is, a phenomenal. Just the best gift she has is the desire to listen to her constituents, and that is, I can vouch for that. So This
All right.
is right. It's not the way it should be, right? You want to hear from, where's the struggle at, and how can we work?
Well, that's why I said I think it's wild that I've had extensive hours-long conversations with legislators in other states that are currently seated, state representatives currently in session, currently working on hemp legislation in their states, can't get anybody in Alabama to have a conversation.
Well,
So you guys are lucky. And it ain't for
Yeah,
lack
but
of trying.
I was going to say but you got to think about it. You guys got seniors that are 65 years and older, and they're going to be wanting this. And Kentucky farmers, we're not too upset that y'all are dragging your feet.
Well, I don't blame you.
I don't mean that.
No, I get it. Well, there's a lot of reasons that Alabama ends up on the short end of the stick, because when it came time to do the right thing and do it the first time, nah, we're not interested in that. Football, oppression, and poverty is what we succeed at.
Well, I hate that. We're going to hopefully fix
I do
that.
too. I do too. There's a lot of
That's
people.
what a resolution's about, right? So a resolution is really about what you want to help to work out. And if that's the way it is, then this is your class. This is where you want to go. So that's how you fix things, is using your sovereignty and standing in a position where you know that you have the ability to make change. And so that's what this free advocacy tools are. This is our county resolution generator. I use the AI on a daily, been advanced in AI since 1989 and my military training. And I created this in the background and gave it to Aaron and say, you plugged it in on the webpage, and here it is. It's a really cool gadget. You can generate.
This is to make it simple for people besides you who don't know this in their sleep, but people like me who, I want to help. I want to do something that's significant enough that it might make a difference. So I just don't know even where do I start? What do I need? Then how do I get it? Then where do I file it? And all those good things. So let's go through and do a little simulation.
Yeah, we're going to do that. So let me just say something real quick, Jennifer. So what if you go down to your county and you file a resolution to support a Kentucky bill? Now you have all that you wished that you thought a while ago. You said representation in Alabama is really a struggle. But if you went down there and you filed this resolution with your county and you said, and supporting a Kentucky law, what do you think they're going to look at? They're going to look right at that law, and
they're going to go, why did she do this?
Exactly. And so if you do that in every county, you know how advocacy groups always say, call your legislator. And it's that thing, right, where people are just ring. When your county judge calls the legislator,
right.
Or sees him in a meeting and says, hey, we've got a resolution for you, wanting you to support this. We've got a strong presence in our county of people who, I go to church with, who I meet at the gas station, who believe this is something. And I was sitting down, I was playing golf with a buddy of mine, and he said, hey, I really believe it. It's a way to get the conversation started in a way that's just not like blow them up on the phone and create as much, and then you see all the advocacy,
which is exhausting. And it can work. It didn't work for us last year, but we just witnessed there was a really bad bill about the public service commissioner, and instead of being able to let the people vote on it, they wanted it to be appointed. And no, that was not okay with a lot of people. And we did all the things that you're talking about, and it actually made a difference because the press was in on it too, but this is it's been like pulling teeth. It's an election year. They're ready to be done so they can go back to raising campaign funds. And but it sounds like this is a way to kind of at least make them take a look at it.
Yeah, Jennifer, it's an easy way to use what is most powerful. You know, your phone's good, social media is good, but boy, you know as well as I do, as soon as they get on social media, sometimes you get a trolling argument and the conversation gets out
Oh
of
yeah.
this way. Here is like, okay, I know how my government works. I know where I get the most authority from, and that is getting cooperation from my county and using that relationship with the legislative body to form itself in a way that's healthy and productive and gets things done. And then
Right.
if you can't get that done, then there's time for all that calling and all of that stuff. And I'm not against it. I'm just saying it's a better way to do it this way. So
Well, let
how it
me
works,
ask you this. This is sort of like telling them what you need them to know, but speaking their language.
yeah, that's a good
You
point.
know, it's
Yeah.
speaking their language, because if we had 10,000 people emailing their legislators with 10,000 different bits of information and 10,000 different ways of saying it,
Yeah.
all the misinformation, I imagine that can be pretty daunting.
Oh,
But if
could you
you
imagine?
do
You only
it,
got 24 hours. Just think about it. You're a legislator, you got 24 hours to listen to everybody's opinion. Before
yeah,
tomorrow, there's everybody else's
there's
new
another
opinion.
wave. Yeah.
So I mean, bless them. That's why I say I do most of the legwork that I could possibly do for the legislators that support us, and do
Yeah.
that all the way down to the county level. So that's how you have this good relationship. Is when you send this to your county judge, he's going to know what you're doing and why
Right.
you're doing it. And
Right.
he's going to be refreshed, or she's going to be refreshed that you took the time to go through this effort. So how
And
it works,
it kind of makes it official.
right? So here tells you exactly how it works. You enter your zip code, review the generated resolution. It's a official county resolution, so it'll be done in your county. It'll have a cover memo with it that you can put with it so that they can read what it, have an executive summary with it. And then talking points that'll be, whenever it comes time to go before the county judge, these are the talking points that they'll have and you'll have, and it'll make it a nice conversation and be an easy, wonderful process. And they're going to love this. That's what I built this on, the idea that if you could do it and use your sovereignty, in a resolution way in every county in the United States, how would you do that? And
Right.
this is what it does. And then transmission, the next step after adopted, it'll go on and they'll send it up to the General Assembly. That's what it says in the resolution. We'll see that here in a minute. And then when you get to, after that, practical, tools, you just generate it right here. So boom, click on, well, I think this is, let me go back. Yeah. I'll go back down here. Home page. And so that's how how it works when you go inside of there. Your meeting preparation is going to walk you through what to expect at a county meeting, before the meeting, during the meeting, discussions and considerations, action and follow-up. So this is designed to teach you how to use your sovereignty in a way that go back here. I'm making you all dizzy. So let's generate one.
Yeah.
So this is my county, Anderson County. So 40342. Hit generate. It's going to go and out. It's researching all of the, my county's procedures and policy and how they manage the resolution and process. And so it's going to sit there and it's going to take about 60 seconds, as it says, and it's going to come back with a resolution. There it is.
I didn't realize while we were waiting for it to generate, I didn't realize. I knew that it would generate the resolution. I didn't realize it was a whole packet of information, like talking points and the cover memo. That's literally, this does all the work for you.
Yeah, this is an upgrade. We first started out, that's why you don't know. This is an upgrade, in Aaron and I worked on developing the ability for it to do these as well. So
Nice.
so here it is, a resolution. A resolution of the Anderson County Fiscal Court supporting agricultural hemp industry developments and regulatory clarity. Whereas Anderson County, Kentucky has a rich agricultural heritage and seeks to support diverse farming opportunities that benefit local producers and the regional economy. And whereas consumers' safety and protection quality standards are essential for maintaining public trust and ensuring responsible commerce within our community. And whereas workforce development opportunities in emerging agricultural sectors can provide valuable employment and economic growth for Anderson County residents. And whereas regulatory clarity at state and federal level is necessary for farmers, processors, and retailers to operate with confidence and compliance. And whereas federal definitions and standards for hemp-derived products require consistent interpretation and implementation across jurisdictions, and whereas local business benefits from clear regulatory framework that promotes fair competition and consumer protections, and whereas public education regarding agricultural products and industry standards serves the interest of informed citizens and community awareness, and whereas Kentucky Bill HB 532 provides a model framework for comprehensive hemp industry regulations that balance agricultural interests with public safety considerations. Now, whereas be it resolved by the Anderson County Fiscal Court that the Anderson County Fiscal Court respectfully requests the Kentucky General Assembly to consider legislation modeled after HB 532 that provides comprehensive regulatory framework for hemp-derived products. The Anderson County Fiscal Court supports inclusions of hemp industry protections and clarity provision in the 2026 Farm Bill. The county judge executive is authorized to communicate this resolution to Kentucky federal congressional delegation, state legislative representatives, Anderson County, and relevant state agencies. This resolution shall be forwarded to the Kentucky Association of counties and other relevant agriculture organizations. This resolution takes effect upon passage adopted this day, blah, blah, 2024. We'll change that to 2026, which is, there's always something that you always have to look for.
Right.
To do these things. That's why it says down here, this tool generates draft resolution documents and educational purposes. Always review and adopt materials to your county specific requirements and consult a local officials before submission. In other words, take this down there after when you email it to them and say, this is what we're wanting to file and would like to request a meeting with you to discuss it. But there's the cover memo that goes with that. Tells you about it's a memorandum, Anderson County Fiscal Court, the judge exec's name. You have to look that up. Hopefully you know that, the date it is. And then here is the memorandum for that. I won't bore you with the reading it. Summary of the resolution is here. So has a really quick summary, executive summary. The proposed Anderson County resolution supports agricultural hemp industry developments through requests for state level regulatory clarity modeled after Kentucky HB 532 and federal protections in the 2026 Farm Bill. The resolution emphasizes agricultural heritage, consumer safety, workforce development, and local business support. It authorizes communication with state and federal representatives while focusing on comprehensive regulatory framework that benefits local farmers and the regional economy. And you can copy and print those right there. And then, of course, the talking points. Here's some talking points with it. Supporting Anderson County agricultural heritage through diverse farming opportunities and economic development initiatives. Requesting clear regulatory framework that protects consumers while enabling local business to operate confidently. Promoting workforce development. You see how it's going there. Ain't that cool?
That is very cool.
Does that make it easy for you
that
to
makes
do?
it so easy. Yeah. And I mean, let me ask you this too. I mean, I know this one is specifically for HB 532, but this is something that you can do to support any type of legislation, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I just have to build so if you got an issue or initiative and you say, Martin, I really need some help getting this initiative done, I can build the same, AI model workflow to do exactly that for you. And I'd be interested in doing that. I'm not plugging in anything, but
Right.
I'm all about helping people understand the value of their sovereignty and how to use the 21st century to do it. So,
all right. Well, thank you so much. We are going to be filming Martin going to his county on Tuesday to file his resolution there.
I'm going to Harrison County. I live in
Harrison. Oh, that's
Anderson
right.
County, but I will be filing the Anderson County one. Reason for Harrison County is that was where one of the first counties I got the 1% resolution passed when I first started working through the model of resolutions. I got it all the way through the House unanimously. We just couldn't get it through the Senate to elevate the definition of industrial hemp here in Kentucky to 1%. And I'm not over with that.
That's right. No, that's
but we're going to do it in a way.
heck.
I think we're going to do it in a way. I think the future looks like we're going to do it in a way that protects the farmer.
Yeah.
And so if it happens in the field that we get to that 1%, we'll allow the remediation to happen in the product development side. And I think we're going to get there. Hopefully we can really get back to what the value of industrial hemp or the definition of industrial hemp came from with testing the young, vigorous leaves of the maturing hemp plant. They came out of the Canadian, International Association of Plant Taxology. That's a mouthful. It happened in 1976, where the definition of industrial hemp came from, the 0.3. So we'll get back to that. But resolution is the topic of the night. I'd love to hear any comments you'd have or anything. Obviously, we'll be posting this video on our Facebook page too. So you want to look at the American Medical Hemp Association's Facebook page and comment there, because that's where we're going to have this dialogue with inspiring each other to use our sovereignty, individual sovereignty, to support the things that are important to us.
I'm typing out the web address real quick to put on the screen.
Oh, super.
So that everybody can see where you can go. Hopefully I spelled it right. You can go to the American Medical Hemp Association.org website. That's where that resolution generator is located. Our contact information is there. A copy of the bill that you can read for yourself. The different interviews that we've done, lots of educational material and resources. But for the purposes of this live, you want to scroll to the bottom of the homepage and find that resolution generator that Martin and Aaron have built. And it has a whole packet of information that it will generate for you to file in your own county. So let's get out there and especially in Kentucky, get out there.
This is good. This is good legislation for the whole nation. That's why we're targeting the 2026 Farm Bill with the language, because we believe it could be adopted across the nation, and we hope you believe it too. And if you do, then that would be so much more. Just think about your county judge saying, "We think you in Kentucky has got it right, and we want to support."
Yeah.
If you should know your county judge. If you live in you should know your county judge, and
right.
Say, hey, I just like for you to support this. And
I don't, but in my defense, I'm new to my county.
Right. Well, it's time, right? It's time. So
my mother-in-law is on the town council where we live, and I'm sure she probably knows everybody.
Right. Well, if you want to,
I will be asking her tomorrow.
If you want to grow hemp in anywhere in the country, this is the legislation to support.
Yeah, absolutely. And like we've said a lot lately, but it's always been paramount and true. The farmers are the foundation of this whole thing. If we cannot protect the farmers, if we cannot get their plants in the ground, we have nothing to work with. Whether or not, wherever you stand on the spectrum of what should be allowed and what shouldn't, at the end of the day, it all starts with the farms. And if we cannot keep the farms afloat, then the rest of it is just going to be shipped in from China, and we don't even want to go there.
We've been there already. We don't want to go back. And look, I want to reach these guys, right? I want to reach my veterans who are. I had a call today from a friend of mine, one of our buddies. Bo,
Yeah,
about,
oh.
yeah, he called me today and is like, man, we've got to get this program for this hemp into the VA. And, and I've been working on it for years and years and years. And
Right.
he's working with his Hal Rogers. He said he called Hal Rogers, which is Eastern Kentucky, and congressman. And he said, look, he's interested in working for these veterans. Look, this is the legislation that I have personally put my life into so that I can reach that veteran who's been incarcerated, suffering this. I can't imagine being four-walled down with just, what they suffer with. And, I have my own journey, and I can't imagine what it would be like if I was locked down.
Well, I have gone through opiate withdrawal many times, and I'm 11 years clean, and I can't, and I have complex PTSD for several reasons. Obviously, that's why it's complex, but I have those two things, and I cannot imagine being locked in a cell with the toilet right next to your head, and God knows what, I watch way too many. Yeah, I watch way too many crime shows and documentaries and these prison documentaries and things. I cannot imagine being in that situation, feeling like a caged animal, and having to deal with my mental issues and withdrawing from opioids. Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
I
so we got a whole
cannot
bunch of
fathom
blessings on the
that.
horizon. We got a whole bunch of blessings on the horizon. We got to get good legislation. And look, April's coming in, we got to be in the ground by June 15th, June 18th, to get the best out of our yields. So, these videos are about getting started now so that we're prepared to get in the ground. Mother Nature waits on nobody. So,
Right. And April's in 3 weeks.
Let's go.
Today's March 8th. So, yeah.
Right. Yeah. All right, y'all. Look, we're going to get off of this. Video's gotten a little long. American Medical Hemp Association.org. Put your zip code in there. Even if you just think, hey, I know somebody who'd be great at this. Maybe it's a 18, 19-year-old person who's wanting to be a really good, presenter, or got a passion for government or what have you, and that believes in what we're doing. Give them, say, hey, here's this, try this out, and send them the link and tell them, look, I think you'd be really good at this. And there's people out there with passion who have, like, I think of Rita Wooten, who had Eli that came all the way up in 2013 and testified on her son's behalf about how CBD had helped him with the seizures. And, there's energy out there. We just got to, and we know who they are. That's the great thing about it. It's your neighborhood. So who's the person in your neighborhood to be best to run these resolutions and support across the nation for good legislation to be adopted in the Farm Bill?
Yep. Well, thank you so much, Martin, for breaking that down and giving us that little demonstration. You guys can hear more information every week on Sweet Home Canabama Radio on Monday nights at 7 o'clock, FM Talk 106.5 on the Gulf Coast, and on the Sweet Home Canabama YouTube page, Facebook, Instagram, X, LinkedIn. Join us, share, subscribe. Help us get this message out there. We want to save this industry. We want to be prepared for the Medicare allowances, and we want to preserve full spectrum hemp-derived products. And of course, that starts with protecting the farmers. So go look at the website, join the Facebook group, page, whatever you want to call it. And if you have any questions, also, you can contact us anytime. Thank you guys for being with us tonight. We'll see you tomorrow night on Sweet Home Canabama.